Happy Friday, everybody. It's Miss C, fourth grade teacher at Syracuse Academy of Science and Citizenship Charter School. And we are again following up our Friday with a fun experiment. And today, our experiment actually happened over the course of a few days. So I had some green onions that I got at the store, along with a regular onion. And I used all the green onion you see here in the picture they were very, very long and extended out, and I cut off the tops and I used them when I was making dinner. And I wanted to see if I could continue to grow the green onion so I could keep using it. You see it has its roots right here attached. And I also wanted to see if I chopped off the top of an onion, if I could grow some sprouts out of that onion. So I took a video over a course of a few days and we're going to see what happened. Now, my hypothesis was that I could grow, I could sprout this onion and I could continue to grow these green onions because both of these plants have roots. Now, the onion has a dried root at the bottom of it, and these green onions had active roots right here. So my hypothesis was that I could grow both of these because of their roots. Now let's see what happens. So this is our first day. And those are the roots on our green onions, also called scallions. You can see where I cut off the tops. And I put it in a jar with just a little bit of water, just enough for the roots to touch. I had a small glass there. Those are the dried roots from the onion, and I thought that I could sprout this onion if I put it in some water. So I placed it in the water just so that that dried root could touch the water, and my thinking was that out of these two little holes there, I would sprout an onion. Now, what do all plants need in order to grow, including water? They need sunlight, so I placed them on my windowsill so that they could get the most sunlight that they could. And these are some other plants that we have. Now here is 2 or 3 days later. Actually, I think this is 1 day later. So the next day I looked at them and I see that they're starting to grow, at least in the green onions. Nothing has really happened to the onion here. And I looked to see if the roots had grown at all, and they hadn't. So here is something funny. What ended up happening was a few days passed and nothing happened to the top of that onion. It didn't sprout anything at all. So I just threw it away because really it was just starting to get really soggy in the water. But a few days later, in the cupboard, I look over and I found this tiny little onion that it started growing its own little shoot right here. So even though my experiment didn't work, we know that onions can still grow shoots and that they can still sprout. I thought that was really cool. It's just the cutest little sprout at the top. So here we are. I think this is about 4 days later. Look at how much they have grown. This is about 4 or 5 days later, and all I did was put them in a jar with some water and put them out by the sun. And after that time, they kept growing, and I'm going to continue to grow these, and we will check back in to see if this vegetable scrap propagation continues. So propagating a plant is when you take a piece of another plant and you start to grow it or regrow part of it. So for example, some cactuses, you can take off a little lobe from the cactus, not the ones with the spikes, but the ones that we call succulents. And you can take off one of the little pieces of them, put them in some soil, and that little piece will grow into a berry cactus. That is called propagating. And so what I did here was I propagated these onions. So all of these green onions may have grown from a different plant, but now I can regrow these onions and continue to use them just by placing them in a little bit of water. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson today, and we will check back in a week to see what happened, a week or two to see what happened, and to see if these continue to grow. So form your hypothesis, and we will check back to see what happens.